On. So we are here with Mr. Komplex, ruler of the Fly Gypsies. What's good? How you doing?
I'm well.
Good, good. Poet extraordinaire. We're featuring you with Greatness Magazine as the professional poet for some years now. So you know you're seasoned, you're spicy. So we got to know what's going on inside the mind of Komplex. So the first time I met you was back in 2002, and that was the first. I think you had just recently, you can correct me if I'm wrong, transitioned into doing poetry as a career, at least to my knowledge. And I was curious, what made you transition, or what inspired you to transition from doing poetry as a hobby into doing it for a living?
I had the feeling that this is just what I wanted. And it was more than a feeling. It was more like, yo, this is what I was supposed to do. And I got a taste of it. Well, I didn't even get a taste because I was submerged in it early, like just immersed in the whole art, the whole scene. And I just ran with it, man. Like, yo, I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to go to work for anybody. And at that time, like, I was kind of, when you searching for yourself, who am I? What am I here to do? What's my purpose? Questions like that, early 20s, questions like that, which is in my mid 20s. That just felt right, you know what I mean? The art felt right, so that was what I wanted to
do. A lot of people say that poetry is moving in the direction of hip-hop, where it's getting kind of watered down and things like that. And I was curious, since you're a poet and an MC, I wanted to know, how do you feel about that statement?
I don't think it's getting watered down. It stayed, or it originated in a state of, like, it's like a lake, you know what I mean? You have different depths. You got people who are on the shore with their papers and who write just for leisure, and they come to the open mic, they read their poem, and you need that. That's maintenance of the scene. That's maintenance of the art form. It keeps growing. You indoctrinate poets that way. That's how everybody starts to some degree. Then you have the people who've been doing it for a while, and they take it a little deeper. And the more they read, the more they become sponges of information, the deeper their work gets, and it reflects that. But they, at the same time, started on the shore. So, the watered down process in terms of quality is one thing. I think, if anything, it's getting saturated just in a commercial appeal, where you got poets who, are professional poets who know what move crowds, who write a bunch of bull crap. I don't know if I can say BS. But they write a bunch of crap just because they know that's what sells. Their work isn't genuine. There's no integrity to their work. They're frauds, artistic frauds, just for the sake of moving product and gaining a reputation. So there's a lot of those. And you can hear it in their work. And that, to me, is a terrible shame to the game. So in that sense, it's definitely getting watered down. And there are a lot of people who don't respect the art form, who just think automatically you write one poem and you're a poet. Okay? No. You got to kill a lot of people to be a serial killer. You know what I'm saying? you can't just kill 2 people and be a serial killer. Nah, it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You got to have some depth to you of content, of work. You got to pay some dues and be in the game and give something back to the art form instead of just trying to milk it for what you can get from it. So, in that sense, I guess it is being watered down. And the dilution of people who don't pay respect and pay homage to this great art form.
People often come to you for advice, especially when they're moving in or thinking about getting a career in poetry, and sometimes that advice has kind of tarnished some of your relationships, or at least that's word on the street. How has that changed, or those experiences influenced the way that you give advice now, or does it?
It doesn't. Either you can handle it or you can't. If you're going to ask a question, you should ask any question. You should be prepared for any answer. So I'm a straight up kind of dude. People ask me all kinds of questions all the time, and I'm going to tell you straight up and down. And if you can't handle it, then that's on you. There's nothing else I can do. But for the people who can handle it, and the people who take the dosage, or the nuggets, or the dosage of truth and honesty that I try to give, it makes them better. You know what I mean? But if you can't check your ego, check your pride, and humble yourself to learn and maybe challenge yourself to grow outside of something that you probably feel strongly about, but you're being shown that you may not be that strong, or being shown a weakness, then that's on you. There's nothing I can do about that. But it's what it is. I didn't get the way I got, like, pulling punches. So it's what it is. I love the people who are called for. That's how you know who are called for this and who are built for this. You know what I mean? Because they process things in a certain way, and they become better people for the challenges that they face, instead of allowing themselves to be crushed.
Word. Com told me my first CD was whack, y'all. But I love him for it. Like, straight up, I appreciate it because it really would have been some garbage on the streets. So this is the man to know if you want to know the truth. Anyways, you have gotten very, very creative with the way you make a living from poetry. You performed at weddings, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs and stuff. How did you first get into that market? Was it because somebody asked you, or did you offer yourself?
To sell yourself, man. You're not gonna make any money at a poetry spot with a whole bunch of poets. You come every week and you do your poem and you try to sell your CDs, and everybody's doing that. You have to, and that's how you expand the market. You have to step outside of the market and allow those people who are not familiar with this little circle of poetry to become familiar, become involved, and be able to enhance it and grow it. So you sell yourselves, man. I put out emails, yo. I do workshops for kids. I perform at your wedding, your birthday party. And I've done it all. I've yet to do a funeral, which I'm not eager to do. But I've done prisons to churches and everything in between. Young people's functions, barbecues, cookouts. I've done it all. Engagement parties. Somebody wanted me to do a divorce party one time.
Yeah.
It got canceled. You know what I mean? So you have to present yourself when you're on the mic. Let the people know, because those people.
I understand you're a part of a music group, Fly Gypsy.
Fly Gypsy.
And a lot of the stuff that I've heard so far from Fly Gypsy has been kind of you doing more of the MC or leaning towards the hip hop. Do you see in the future of Fly Gypsy fusing some poetry into that?
Absolutely. Music is limitless. You know what I mean? Right now, we're just focusing on hip hop because hip hop is still a more marketable, as far as mainstream media, more marketable means of more marketable genre. So it's a more profitable means of making music, being creative, and so we're pushing with the hip hop thing, but I write like a poet. You know what I mean? So even some of the hip hop stuff, depending on what you're hearing, you know what I mean, it's gonna have that flair to it. And we'll definitely gonna fuse some in there. It's inevitable because that's part of who I am. Fly Gypsy is. It's very musical. We're wide open. We're limitless. We're boxless. So we do it all.
Does it all. So you run a company that you founded years and years ago, Love, Peace, and Poetry. Where do you see Love, Peace, and Poetry in 5 years from now?
Love, Peace, and Poetry right now is really taking a second shelf to Fly Gypsy, simply because we have so much more going on with Fly Gypsy. But at the same time, Love, Peace, and Poetry is my poetry company, my heart, my baby. And what I'm trying to do is just, cultivate other poets, cultivate venues, cultivate people who are not familiar with poetry to develop an appreciation for the art form by putting on shows, produced by Love, Peace, and Poetry, putting out projects, produced by Love, Peace, and Poetry, compilation CDs, my own CDs, and use everything that I've been working on, all my resources, use what resources I have to both push the Fly Gypsy hip hop thing and to market poetry in ways and in forums and in arenas that it's not reaching just yet. So Love, Peace, and Poetry is a great brand, and it's established me in a lot of ways. Saying you go from being just an artist to an entity, and you got a lot more leverage to do different things that way.
Dope. So where can the people find you, my youth?
FlyGypsy.com. FLYGYPSY. You can Google us. We're on Twitter. We're on MySpace. We're on Facebook. Nobody uses MySpace anymore. We're on Facebook. FLYGYPSY. Fly Gypsy. We just shot a video in Jamaica for our first single. Yeah, man.
I saw the audition for the video chicks. I was like,
Yeah, it's like the video.
I'm trying to be a video vixen for Fly Gypsy.
But we're doing some good music, man. We're doing some big things. We got a new mixtape that drops on August 11th. It's called Vodka and Rum, and we fusing some old school hip hop, some old school soul music, some rock music. We fusing it all, some guitar, acoustic guitar stuff, and it sounds really good. It's a nice feel for hip hop, a lot of energy, a lot of love. It's called Vodka and Rum. August 11th is when it drops. Make sure you pick it up. You can actually download it for free on FlyGypsy.com. So make sure you just memorize the website, FlyGypsy.com. Come talk to me, holler at me, shoot me an email, be my friend on Facebook, and we can, be friends. We can be BFFs, me and you.
Nice. So that is Mr. Komplex, king of the Fly Gypsies.
I ain't king. I'm just a fly. I'm just a gypsy trying to fly myself.
That's a beautiful thing. Signing off with Greatness Mag. Thank you.
Love, Peace, and Poetry.